What's up, Guardians? Haterade here, and today we're gonna sit down and have a little chat about a new Titan build that makes you near impossible to kill. This Void 3.0 build will have you soloing dungeons and clearing lost sectors with ease. Before getting into the build and going over how insanely strong it is, if you find this video to be helpful, then a like is greatly appreciated as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm, as well as subscribing to the channel for future Destiny 2 content. Now, in Season of the Risen, we've seen a drastic increase in the use of Void subclasses thanks to their massive rework, aka Void 3.0. Before this change, Sentinel Titan's survivability paled in comparison to the Void Warlocks of old thanks to one little perk. Now, that perk is available in the form of a fragment for all classes. Think you know what it is? It's probably glaringly obvious, especially for anyone who plays on multiple classes. That's right, I'm referring to Devour. In the past, Devour Warlocks reigned supreme in the survivability department, specifically for solo activities. The ability to proc Devour and have 10 seconds to kill anything to both heal you and refresh the timer was a fan favorite of those looking to fight their way through hordes of incoming enemies. Fast forward to Season of the Risen, and now we have the ability to do this on a Titan, but even better, thanks to the fragment Echo of Starvation. I'll go into more detail on why later on in the video when we discuss how this new fragment synergizes with the rest of the build to make this Devour 2.0 build shine. Kicking things off with the aspects, you're going to want to use Bastion and Controlled Demolition. With Bastion, you'll be getting that nice overshield when popping your barricade and stacking it with the constant healing in this build to make you a juggernaut on the battlefield. Pairing this with Controlled Demolition will allow you to afflict waves of enemies with a volatile debuff and continue to mow them down, which will continually proc Devour and feed you with constant healing. In addition to the offensive bonus of clearing waves of enemies with this, you'll also give your allies and yourself a burst of healing when these defeated enemies are in close proximity. Onto the fragments for this build, and oh boy, here's where things get interesting. The key component to this build is the fragment Echo of Starvation, which states that picking up an Orb of Power grants Devour. Paired with the fragment Echo of Persistence, you'll be increasing the Devour timer, allowing for a greater time frame within which you'll need to kill an enemy to keep the buff going, in addition to increasing the time that any applied overshields remain unless stripped by taking damage. Lastly, I personally like Echo of Leeching for this build. You get my throwing shield melee healing in addition to the overshield applied for each hit on an enemy. Now, it's important to take a look at the benefits of how these fragments synergize together to best showcase why using them together is so strong. At base value, the Devour perk will initially give you 5 seconds to get a kill, which both fully heals you and extends the timer, up to a total of 10 seconds. You can continue to keep Devour active by either killing an enemy or picking up an Orb of Light in that time frame. Here's where the increased duration of Devour thanks to Echo of Persistence comes into play. By using these two fragments together, your base Devour timer starts at 8 seconds and can be extended up to 15 seconds by either killing enemies or grabbing Orbs of Power. Remember the old pre-Void 3.0 Devour that only lasted 10 seconds? Yeah, you can forget that ever existed. After seeing how much more powerful this is in the current sandbox, the old Devour, previously only available to Void Warlocks, is a distant memory. As far as keeping the Devour buff active, we've already covered both methods. Number 1, kill an enemy, and number 2, pick up an Orb of Light. However, there is a caveat to picking up an orb to both proc Devour and to extend the timer. If your super bar is full, then you will not be able to pick up any Orbs of Light unless you utilize one of two different methods. The first is using the mod Taking Charge. This allows you to pick up an orb despite having a full super up to the total number of stacks of Charge with Light that you're able to based on the mods you have equipped. Just using this mod alone will allow you to pick up 2 Orbs of Light and extend your Devour twice, but you can further increase this with mods like Charged Up and Supercharged. But there is another method that I personally prefer and will be utilizing with this build going forward. If you have a weapon equipped with the perk Explosive Light, like the new craftable rocket launcher Palmyra B, you can pick up to 6 Orbs of Light, giving you even more opportunities to proc Devour. But with the fast charging Ward of Dawn super, you can always feel free to pop your bubble and pick up any orbs you create without having to worry about keeping Devour procced. This takes the build forward into playing with other Guardians in a fire team, as they can also create orbs either via weapon kills while using mods that allow for orb creation, or by using their super abilities. As far as the build goes, you can really use this with just about any exotic, but for the purposes of this video, we'll be using a spin-off of my previous Void build found in the video Embrace the Void. Using the exotic Heart of Inmost Light and focusing on using ability spam to keep constant overshield with the barricade and throwing shield ability, and pairing that with healing from Devour, you'll be near unstoppable. This ability spam will also play into the creation of Void Wells, which will further add to the effectiveness of this build. The holy trinity of sorts for this build are the mods Elemental Ordnance, Seeking Wells, and Well of Tenacity. While your Devour is staying procced in the background, you'll be constantly yeeting grenades everywhere, and upon getting a grenade kill, will spawn a Void Elemental Well thanks to Well of Ordnance. Seeking wells will allow you to let these wells travel across the ground for a set distance and move towards you, which means half the time you don't even have to worry about running over to them, as they'll seek you out. As these void wells are then picked up, Well of Tenacity will proc, giving you another layer of damage protection for 5 seconds. Now this is where you can split the build one of two different ways. If you're looking for even more of a protective build, then you can slot the mods Taking Charge, or Elemental Charge, and Protective Light, which will do two things. First and foremost, it will allow you to become charged with light and keep a 10% damage reduction in reserves in case your health gets low, giving you a chance to recover. And secondly, this allows you to pick up 2 orbs of light once your super is full, allowing you to keep your super for when you really need it, and give you 2 additional chances to proc Devour. The other way, and this is the route I tend to lean towards, is using the seasonal mod Volatile Flow with the seasonal artifact variant of the mod Font of Might due to its drastically decreased cost to slot. Using these mods, in addition to a void weapon in your energy or heavy weapon slot, or both if you're wanting to go full send on void, you'll be firing volatile rounds that deal 25% more damage when these mods are active after picking up a void elemental well, which will be all the time. Bringing it back to the beginning and talking about the effectiveness and practicality of a build like this centered around the new Devour fragment, and I can't help to think how much more versatile the Titan has become because of it. Me personally, I still remember the last time I used Devour to get past the totem encounter in a solo flawless run of the Pit of Heresy dungeon. Since this new fragment has come out and I've been able to toy with running Devour on a Titan, I decided to go back and do that same encounter to see how it would stack up against the Devour builds of old, and the results are astounding. Having a 15-second Devour cooldown and non-stop overshields thanks to the Sentinel aspects, I had 100% uptime on healing and overshields for the duration of the encounter without even trying. Once I got this build spun up, it just kind of ran itself, freeing me up to focus on what I needed to do to get through the encounter without dying. From a practicality standpoint, this won't be the only build to have on hand, and I see some potential weak points in high-end gameplay, which could see some mods shuffled around, as it's very dependent on being able to chain kills to keep the buffs active. However, I myself have used it in solo Master Lost sectors and low mans of the new raid, and can attest to its usefulness. Thank you, Void 3.0. The Titan is here to devour the world. With that comes the conclusion to today's video. I hope you enjoyed this build breakdown and learned something out of it. As always, I'll have the link to the dim loadout in the description if you want to take a look at everything laid out in front of you. If you enjoyed this video or found it at all helpful, then a like is greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more Destiny 2 content, and feel free to check out this build and many more live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/haterade. I stream 3 to 4 days a week and would love to have you swing by and check out the channel. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. I'll see y'all in the next one.